What is going on, guys? It is Murder here, and today I'm going to tell you guys some of the tips that I have to give you about how to use Tracer and basically just, utilize the character and all of her abilities as much as you can to perform the best in game.
Don't worry, loves. Cavalry's here.
Now, one of the reasons I think that I am decently qualified to tell you guys what I know about Tracer is just because, she is my most played character in the game, my most played hero, and she's definitely pretty much the only hero that I'll go to as far as, offensive characters in the game. So with that in mind, I think I do have some good tips or decent things that might be able to help some new people playing Tracer, or some things that might be able to actually enhance somebody's ability that have experience playing Tracer, have played her for a long time, or preferred her over some other offensive characters. I think I might have a few tips here and there, and if I do actually help any of you guys, even if it's like something that you already knew or you think that it might help other people, make sure to like the video or at least leave a comment. Help the video be seen by more people so that everybody can kind of get this information that doesn't already have it. So the first thing I want to tell you guys is I want to kind of get all the cliche tips out of the way and just make sure you guys have those in mind, because it's very basic for this character, this hero. So basically, when you're playing Tracer, if you're going to actually play Tracer as your main hero, not necessarily your main hero, but your most played hero, the person that you always resort to as like a backup if you don't have anything else to play, or if you have to play an offensive character and you don't know what else to use and don't want to play anything else. So, you really want to know the maps in this game. A lot of people will tell you this, and I'm here to tell you it again just because it is that important. Playing Tracer, she is extremely low on HP. She has the lowest amount of HP in game. So with that in mind, you really need to know where these med packs are, especially the large ones. Now, one thing I need to tell you guys is that when you see another player approaching a med kit, or when you're planning to fight another player, you want to try to bring them back into a position that you can fight them off the best. Now, obviously, you have your rewind, or whatever you want to call it, when you go back in time, that can give you health back based on when you actually left off, and when you actually hit E on your keyboard, or whatever the button is on your controller. So, when you rewind, of course, that'll give you more health, or whatever health you had at that specific period in time that you rewind to. But make sure to put yourself in a position where you can go to a medkit quickly, or rather quickly, just so you can be able to, essentially get your full health back and be able to keep fighting another character, especially if it's somebody like Soldier 76. I know he's pretty difficult to play just because he can heal himself. You want to be able to combat that by healing yourself as well. Okay, now with that tip in mind, I do want to kind of share some of the things that I haven't really seen other people talk about. I'm not saying they haven't been mentioned, but I'm saying that it's not as common. When you look up beginner guides for Tracer or advanced guides for Tracer, whatever it may be, you don't really see these mentioned in those videos. So the big thing is when you're playing Tracer, you really want to push her to her limits. And honestly, with her being such low health, that might kind of scare you guys. And a lot of people I see with play Tracer, they hesitate with whatever they do. They want to save their rewind, which is very good. You don't want to go into a combat scenario without having that rewind. However, you really do want to push your limits, because you're not going to get the most out of the character unless you test her and see how you can play with her the best. For example, when you see a crowd of enemies, of course you're not going to want to approach those enemies. You want to try your best to get behind them, and of course that's very, very basic for this character. It's really simple to, I guess, come across that idea, like, oh, I need to get behind them to be able to battle them, because I'm not going to be able to battle them head on. So what you want to do is, once you get behind them, honestly, you just want to kind of, not necessarily spray, you want to be accurate, but you want to be able to take shots at them, doing as much damage to the enemy team, unless, they have like a Lucio, then it's kind of pointless. Lucio is really good at combating Tracer's healing abilities. That's why, especially when you come across a Lucio single-handedly, you don't really want to face that character. Honestly, I try to stay away from them just because it is really difficult for me to take them out, just because, they have the passive heal that can keep them away from your damage. Okay, so with that in mind, with pushing your limits in mind, you really want to target a specific group of people. I don't necessarily go for tanks in certain scenarios, just because obviously I'm not going to be able to take them out by myself. However, if the tank is, singled out from the rest of the group, and you want to see if you can take them out, go for it, alright? Just make sure you have your med kit nearby, you know where you're going, you have an exit route, because that is a big issue when it comes to a lot of other Tracers, that people that play Tracer, is just because, they don't really think of an exit route. you really want to have that exit in mind so that you know, okay, if this doesn't work out, if another hero comes along to help this person, you have a way out to not get yourself killed. So when I talk about singling out other heroes, you really want to go for heroes with lower health. That's pretty obvious. However, heroes that I have listed that I would consider being bigger threats that you really want to try to target the best you can are any Bastion. Bastion is a big issue. Torbjorn, however you actually pronounce him. I think I had it right. But Torbjorn, and then Widowmaker, she's a big issue, and I'd say Tracer is probably one of her biggest combatants or biggest counter heroes, just because, you know, you can move around her really quickly, she can't move around as swiftly, and you can take her out rather fast. Also, another character or another hero that you really want to look out for are any like Zenyatta or Mercies. Obviously, those are healers. Everybody wants to target the healer. That's usually tank and healer, the people that you know, DPS or offensive heroes are going to target the most, and that's pretty obvious. But another tip for taking out these heroes really quickly, actually, a lot of people don't do this when they play Tracer, and it's a really big help when you're playing this hero, is you need to melee. Tracer is made to move around quickly and, you know, confuse your enemy, especially when it comes to like a Soldier 76, and you know, he's gonna have to like hold fire on you, but if you keep moving out of his line of sight, it's gonna really mess him up when he's trying to shoot at you. So one thing I've come up with, a lot of people have probably told you this in other videos, but you really need to melee. So when you're dashing around, teleporting around as Tracer, or blinking as it's called in the game, you really want to try to melee or get as many melee hits as you can. Obviously, it's not going to do that much damage, but it'll really finish off the job and get you a couple more hits in without actually having, you know, to use your guns. So for example, at the beginning of a game, obviously if you're playing a character like Tracer or Genji, you really want to try to go on the outside routes of the game and, you know, get around on each map and try to get behind the enemy team and then single out whoever you're going to kill. That's honestly the best way to play these characters, these two heroes right there, Tracer the most, just because you really need to get behind because you're not going to be able to face anybody head on. At least people like Soldier 76, I wouldn't really recommend facing him head on with unless you have like a medkit in store that's nearby you, or I would never really go up against a Hanzo, just because he can one-shot you rather quickly. If he gets a good shot and he can kill you pretty fast. That or McCree or Reaper. Those characters can kill you rather quickly, especially McCree. McCree is very good combatant against Tracer, so you really want to look out for him. And if they have one on the character, either I suggest, you know, you try to stay away from him as much as you can, or just don't play Tracer, because honestly, he'll probably be your biggest issue if you come across him, just because of his flashbang and his fan the hammer ability that he has. And lastly, just make sure, you know, you use her grenades and push her to her limits, because, you know, Tracer is made for a very strong offensive hero. A lot of people don't really see her as that. A lot of people see her as a weak being that can go around the enemy team and, you know, get a kill here and there. That's really not what she's about. You can do some serious work if you actually pay attention to where you're at on the map and what things you can do on the map, such as, you know, going on Hanamura. There's actually a little pocket that you can go through from the very first push you're playing on the attacking side, that'll get you right over the wall, and honestly, it works out really, really well. I've gotten numerous amounts of kills because a lot of people don't really pay attention to it, and it really lets you get behind the enemy team. That's just one example. So you really want to pay attention to where you're on the map and where you can go at all times. And I think the last thing I told you guys, not the last thing, but one of the biggest things is, you know, really just make sure you have an exit route. Make sure you're near a medkit. You got to prepare yourself. You don't sit there. I would never suggest camping as Tracer, because honestly she needs to move around as much as she can. That's how you prevent yourself from actually being a target, is just moving around and you know, using your abilities, making sure you're blinking whenever you need to, and getting around the map as quick as possible. But you do need to know where those medkits are and know an exit route. Okay guys, that pretty much wraps up the video. I just want to say thank you guys for watching, and if this did help any of you, any beginners or any advanced players, I would really appreciate it if you guys would like the video, leave a comment what you thought of it, or really just share it with people that you know are interested in the game or interested in playing Tracer as you know, one of their main offensive heroes. So I just want to say thank you guys for watching this video yet again, and I want you guys to have a nice day and enjoy playing Tracer any better now. I hope. I don't know. Maybe you'll take these tips. Alright, just thanks for watching. Goodbye. Hey everyone, it's Murder here. I just want to say thank you guys for watching this video, and if you guys did enjoy, make sure to click like, subscribe, or go to my previous video by clicking the left annotation. Have a nice day, everybody.
Remember back when, dreaming about the life we didn't realize had to get there'd be sacrifice. We didn't take into account the craziness of life. Remember setting up those speakers, calibrating lights, hoping that our friends would come support us for the night. And maybe 20 in a crowd, we thought we owned the world. Look at me now, like I was stunting on my old girl. Heard she came through for a bit.